Me as a Black trans woman, like I had to clarify to you last night, that I have to walk outside every single day and have to worry about being clocked. And when I am clocked, I have to, because if I don't, there's one or two instances that could be, I can either go safe or not. So there are definitely going to be those times where you are going to have to you can't just say mind your business, because that's not reality.
You villainized all of us on this panel, all of us in this room, because one person rubbed you the wrong way.
I know that you go through things in life as well, but it becomes you centering yourself when you say, well, we both go through things, because the things that you go through in life will never touch the things that your child are going through with their identity.
Into that, I'm minding my business, because that's not what I do. I accept everybody for who they are and how they are and how they treat me.
You have to accept yourself with the accountability that we're holding you to, because you definitely were the person.
What accountability are you holding me to?
The fact that you even ask that question means that you're not understanding what's going on.
No, I understand, but I'm asking y'all, why do I have to continue to do that though? It's because just kind of, it's crazy.
Okay, so let's see some.
I'm gonna see y'all in the street, and I'm not gonna ask that question. I'm just gonna let you do what you do. I'm not gonna ask that.
Go ahead, Jay.
I'm not. And I'm kind of tired of it being on me. I just want to move on.
Let's talk about accountability. I'm sorry, really? we don't truly get to move on from these. And also, if you're here to help your child, these are issues that you guys will face in the future, and that your child will go through every single day. I hope that what I say
we both go through something every single day because of her sexuality. We've been going through it for years.
Hold on, wait. What you just saying that? Do you understand that there's a difference between gender and sexuality?
Yes. I do. Right. I do.
So I want you to understand that with them identifying and understanding that they're non-binary, there are going to be instances where that is going to be the only topic of discussion in every
and I'm going to tell them same people to mind their business, baby. Mind your business.
Wait.
Can I have the floor?
I get the mother's instinct of saying mind your business, but that's not reality.
Yeah, it is.
So let me educate you, since you're here to be educated. Me as a Black trans woman, like I had to clarify to you last night, that I have to walk outside every single day, because I work in a complex where I have to interact with people every single day and have to worry about being clocked. And when I am clocked, I have to, because if I don't, there's one or two instances that could be, I can either go safe or not. So there are definitely going to be those times where you are going to have to you can't just say mind your business, because that's not reality.
What's my reality? Because I do it all the time. I'm sorry.
And see, that's the point. It's your reality. That's your reality, like you just said. That's not our reality.
Hold on. Jobs can be affected. Housing can be affected. Her life can be affected. Their life can be affected. Their health care can be affected. Every aspect of their life is affected by this conversation. And I understand that as a person already, we have to go through shit on a day-to-day basis. But now that your child is part of this community, identifies with this community, there are going to be hardships as a parent that you are not prepared for.
And that's something that you honestly, you can learn as much as you want. You won't ever be prepared for. I talk to my heterosexual friends on a regular that have children. I applaud them.
whether they completely accept it, whether they're still learning, whether they're educating themselves. Because as a parent, you don't see gay, color, straight, lesbian. You see your child, number one, okay?
And your child's black.
And you exactly. So your child has things against them.
Let me go even deeper than that. Let me go deeper than that, Sean. Your child's not only black, but your child doesn't. We're still building on what it is our community is from the fucking roots of every aspect in our community. And that's including education, that is including on healthcare, and that is everyone in our community that identifies as black. So when you're talking...
Okay, that was odd. Tess, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, Tess.
We can't hear you, Tess.
No, we can't hear you. Try swiping up like you're...
Yeah, swipe out and then...
Hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you now, yeah.
When you're talking about issues as a black woman, that's we as a community, we this is what we're trying to get y'all to understand. We understand that. We're embedded in that. And this is coming from someone who is living through that experience too. But what we want y'all to stop doing is stop taking that as, oh well, we're attacking you because we're wanting you to show that there is real empathy, there is real care in what you are saying that you are doing and who the people that you have attached to you. That's why tokenism is a problem, because everybody would like Sakina was saying, you can, like a white person saying, I have a black friend.
Sakina.
Sorry. Look,
Sakani.
The long A,
like
it's
I
all
was
right.
saying, the white man can say they have a black friend all day long, but they can still be a racist.
Okay. I would like to wrap this conversation, but I'd like to wrap...
Wait. If you're going to wrap it, let me say one thing. Let me just say one thing if you're going to wrap it like a...
And can I speak up,
real quick,
please?
All I'm going to say is this. The other thing that I really do not like is the fact that you are... Like, the fact that I'm not saying you this is intentionally, but I don't like the fact that you use our community against your child to be like, oh, well, see how y'all are acting? Now my child is acting like this. That's not cool. The reason why we had this conversation was literally a miscommunication, or it was like we just didn't align ourselves right. Like I had said in the beginning of this conversation, some of us are singers, some of us are teachers, some of us aren't. And like if you felt like you weren't approached by someone who was meant to teach you, then that's all right, but you should have made space so that you could have still learned something. But instead, you took the entire community to be like, now my child is watching this and seeing this. First of all, we see you, and we're talking about you. We don't know who's in your room. You don't know if I have 15 cats and 3 dogs and 17 people in my room right now. For me to then say, oh, how dare y'all say this about this? Because now all the people in my room that you can't see are offended. Like, that's not cool. Because at the end of the day, if your child was in here and asking questions about like personal growth or mental growth or anything like that, I'm pretty sure the majority of us in this room, better yet, I can say all of us in this room could give your child some form of like education or guidance in a progressive direction. I'm not saying they got to take what we have to say for full granted, but they could have grew from our conversation. But you chose to villainize us as people because you felt attacked, and you felt attacked by literally one person. That's the other thing. You villainized all of us on this panel, all of us in this room, because one person rubbed you the wrong way. I never once said anything about you. I never once said anything about like what was going on or anything like that. The only thing I said was like, let's hold ourselves accountable, because you definitely did say, hey, I don't believe that like a white man should be talking about these issues. And when that same question was brought up to you, you could have just simply said, I'm here to learn. But you didn't say that. You sat here and chose to be on the defensive. You chose to be in the spotlight.
And that's what the world does. That's what the world does to us.
I'm human, so I'm not human at the end of the day.
No more rebuttals.
We're not talking about being human.
Say one thing.
We're not talking about being human. We're talking about holding ourselves accountable.
What did you say, AJ?
I said we're wrapping it. No more rebuttals.
I'm rebuttaling this because I'm going to rebuttal.
Okay.
Because I'm human. I'm human, and anybody is going to rebuttal. I'm human. We all are human, and we all have had rebuttals today. But to me, it seems like, and I'm going to say this, it seems like that some people only think that they have to have a rebuttal. Everybody has one. Everybody has one. Everybody has a rebuttal. Everybody don't feel the same way.
I'm attempting to end the conversation, which is
I'm
why
not
we're not doing any rebuttals at the moment.
And I'm not.
I
appreciate all y'all and what y'all say, but I'm gonna listen to you now, Ari. I'm gonna listen to you now.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm new here. I don't want to overstep or anything, but I felt compelled to talk because I've kind of been in friends' situation with learning, something that I was unfamiliar with, and I wanted to give you some just, I don't know. I don't want to say advice because you're a grown woman. Who am I to give you any advice? But my opinion on this is, I feel like there's not any listening to understand. I feel like there's a lot of listening to rebut and listening to respond going on from you. And that's like the biggest issue, because here's the thing. I know that you go through things in life as well, but it becomes you centering yourself when you say, well, we both go through things, because the things that you go through in life will never touch the things that your child are going through with their identity. And that is true. That is true. I've seen it. My own sibling goes through it. And even though we are both queer, I am pansexual, I'm still a cis woman. My sibling is not cis. My sibling goes through things that I can't even imagine. So for me to sit up here and go, well, I'm a Black woman and I go through things too, like that's centering. That has nothing to do with it. Now, when I lived in a LGBTQ shelter, I was there with trans women. I didn't know much about trans women, so I always made mistakes. Were they intentional mistakes? No. Did I get clocked for my mistakes? Yes. Did I rebut? Did I argue? Did I try to say, oh, well, I'm not trying to do this, or I'm not trying to do that? No, I listened. Oh, you told me not to say that? I'll never say it again. It is not up to the community to give grace to people and educate people. It's up to people to educate themselves.
All right. See, what my thing is like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's just, I pay attention to a lot of things, babe. And like I said, if the people aren't receptive, I pay it to, like, to me, I grew up with people who pay attention to learn, they pay attention. Everything else outside of that, it should be null and void. And if you really learn, if you were really listening to learn, I would expect paying attention to be top priority. So I want everyone who is also asking, and I'm directing this to friends, low key. No, high key. I need you to pay attention, because you're having sidebar conversations that come off and it's distracting and it's very disrespectful. And you're also asking for respect.
Here with me, my apologies, but we are conversing with each other. She's sitting here next to me. And we're listening together, but we're also having our own sidebar conversations, because I didn't explain to y'all what I went through growing up as a bisexual female with my own family members and the life that I had to live does not mean that I didn't go through anything. And she's also stating that. She's stating that, Mom, they don't even know you like that. So I'm listening to y'all, but and could you read what she just said, Chef? And I should not have to explain that, but it's okay.
But you should.
I'm okay with it, y'all. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I get it.
Sean, let me. Okay, so what I'm gonna wrap this conversation, and what I'm gonna say is a little pointed. So if you would like to respond, that is completely fine. And I completely agree with Tess. I think undivided attention is absolutely important, especially when you're speaking to people and asking them to teach you something or impart something on you. But I'm going to speak on a couple of things that you have said. Your child being non-binary, you have never once corrected yourself to say they. The only time you corrected yourself is when we corrected you. So I think that's something that, you have to work out. You said that you guys spoke about the pronouns, you're working on it. I think that you can more actively work on those things. 2, I think that you have to, I think that you guys, it's really a catch, and I don't want to offend you, right? Because I don't know your household, right? However, you did say that you do not call yourself bisexual out of respect for your husband, and that in itself was rooted in homophobia that you and your husband are going to have to speak to make sure that your child is growing up and accepting home. And the fact that you did say that and then you have not corrected yourself on your child's pronouns, those two things scream red flags to me. And I think that's obviously something that you guys have to work out as a family, right? With the conversation that we were having about this being an LGBTQIA space, I think it is important not only for you, but also for your child. Because you do not identify as bisexual, I'm only going to call you what you identify as, which is a heterosexual cisgendered woman. You in fact took up space in a conversation for another member of our community to come here and have a voice. And that is true. Not only did you take up the space from an LGBTQIA member, we then have spent most of this time talking about you, which again is doing a disservice to this community. And I think that if you have questions about your daughter, if you have questions about your child, if there is something that we can impart on you, that's completely different from understanding that we were having a very personal conversation to us, to our community, and then taking up space, and then not only taking up space, as Sakani said, you then villainized us. You then made it seem as if we were bullying and harassing you by how we responded to your response. And reasonably, you weren't having a conversation with us. You were having a conversation with someone else. And unfortunately, during that conversation, you ended up offending the panel. And so we had to have this conversation. After you offended the panel, you then brought on tears to then use your daughter as this think piece. That it's just what happened, and I maybe love the intention. I want you to know that it's not about your intentions. It's all about how we took it. And so I think that there is so much growth that needs to happen on your end, and especially maybe even on your husband's end. We don't even know him, but this could have went so much differently.
Tears from when I'm angry, I do shed tears, but that didn't mean that I was doing the victimizing. I shed tears when I'm angry, and that's bad that I have to explain all of this to y'all. I'm not asking nobody to explain nothing to me like that. I'm just trying to learn. And like I said, if Chef does not want me here, that's up to Chef. That's up to Chef. This is Chef's live. This is Chef.
Friends, if you understand that though,
okay,
that what you just said is kind
Chef,
of
would you like for me to even get off the panel?
Wait a minute.
Because it seems like it's more than just the host.
Sean and AJ, you're cutting her off. Yes, she's trying to speak. I don't like how y'all projecting yourself to cut her off. It's disrespectful. If y'all got a mother, y'all know your mother will smack y'all in your mouth for that. So please,
not mine.
While she's talking.
Not mine. Not mine. At all.
But
at all. I was not
speaking. Y'all keep cutting me off.
I feel you expected this conversation.
Chef, I asked you.
No, I'm not.
You expected this conversation.
I just met you today.
Butterflies and rainbows and unicorns. This conversation,
thank you, Chef,
is never ever going to be comfortable. Okay, the most uncomfortable conversations are the best ones. And if you really want to learn, you have to understand that yes. And I applaud you. I literally, if I came off aggressive earlier, I apologize because that was not my intention. Because I applaud any mother or any parent that stands up trying to attempt to learn for their child, for anything, just to learn, even if you don't have children, okay? But these conversations are what we deal with every day, okay? You as a Black woman in America should understand that because you have your own adversity that you deal with since you were a child till now. What I'm telling you is the uncomfortability conversations, it's gonna happen, sis. and you have to be ready for it. You cannot jump to you're being attacked.
I wasn't expecting this. I was
know,
not
but that's what I'm saying. Expect the unexpected.
Like I said, it is what it is. If y'all felt uncomfortable with me, it is. Oh, it is.
No one feels uncomfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable with you.
It is.
I feel like it is. That needs to happen.
But it is
uncomfortable. For you, it's uncomfortable.
No.
It's going.
You're right.
Listen,
you're right.
I've been having uncomfortable conversations all my life with me being fat. Hold on. With me being fat, with me being bi, it's been uncomfortable conversations all my life.
Here we go, talking about you instead of the topic.
Listen,